Let us now understand the third model from average, where we are supposed to find out the average of a smaller group out of a given larger group. The point here is, if the average of a group of n elements is A and the average of a group of n1 elements out of n elements is A1, then the average of the remaining elements, that is n minus n1 elements, will be n into A minus n1A1 divided by n minus n1. To understand this point, let us assume there are n students in a school, and out of these n students, n1 are boys. So it is obvious that the remaining students, that is n minus n1, should be girls. Now for these n students, let us assume the average age is A, and for n1 boys the average age is A1. So the average of the girls here can be calculated as total of all the students, that is n into A, minus the total of all the boys, n1 A1, divided by the number of students minus number of boys, so n minus n1. So this is how this point is useful in finding out the average of a second group when the average of the first group and the overall group is given to us. In some cases, the average of the whole group is given, and out of that the average of two smaller groups is also given, and we are supposed to find out the average of the third group. Even in that case, the same concept is applicable, that is n into A, that is the total of the whole group, minus n1A1, the total of the first group, minus n2A2, the total of the second group, divided by n minus n1 minus n2. So this is how we can always find out the average of the left out group when the average of the remaining groups is given to us and the average of the whole group is also given. Let us now take an example based on this concept. The given question here is, the average age of a class of 65 boys is 14 years. The average of 20 of them is 14 years and that of another 15 is 12 years. So what will be the average age of the remaining boys? So as you can see here, the average age of the whole class of 65 boys is given, that is 14 years. And then the average of a group of 20 of them is given, which is 14 years. And another group of 15 boys is 12 years. And we are supposed to find out the average age of the remaining boys. We have just learned that when the average age of a whole class is given and the average of smaller groups of the class is given to us, then we can find out the average of the remaining students as NA minus N1A1 minus N2A2 divided by N minus N1 minus N2, where N is the total number of students, N1 and N2 are the number of students in the other groups, and A1 and A2 are the averages of these groups respectively. So by using this point, the answer for this question can be obtained as N into A, that is total number of students 65 into their average 14 minus the other group here is of 20 boys where the average is 14 years. So total of these 20 boys can be taken as 20 into 14 minus the third group is 15 boys where the average is 12 years. So their total can be taken as 15 into 12 divided by total number of students 65 minus number of students in the first group 20 and number of students in the second group, that is 15. So this can be simplified as 65 into 14 minus 20 into 14. By taking 14 common, we get 65 minus 20, which is 45 into 14 minus 15 into 12 divided by 65 minus 20 is 45, 45 minus 15 is 30. Again taking 15 common, we get 3 times, 1 time and 2 times. So 3 into 14 is 42 minus 12 divided by 2, which is equal to 30 by 2, which comes out to be 15. So we can say that the average age of the remaining boys will be 15 years. So this is how we can solve such type of questions where the average of the whole group and the average of smaller groups out of it is given to us. And we are supposed to find out the average of the remaining group of people.